You are listening to the podcast of the Mathias Corvinus Collegium, the largest talent management institute in Hungary. If you want to know more about our mission, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en or check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. For interesting articles and analysis of our professors, external contributors, and students, look up our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.
Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast series Asia Meets Hungary, brought to you by the Learning from Asia project at the MCC Learning Institute. My name is Bimba and I'm a junior researcher of the Learning from Asia project. And as part of our Learning from Asia initiative, we have established a community called the Asian PhD Hub. This hub brings together Asian PhD students who are currently studying in Hungary, providing a platform for sharing insights, challenges, and success stories. Within this hub, we are excited to host guests for our podcast, allowing them to share their unique experiences and perspectives. So I'm delighted to welcome the guests today. Today we are having a Bhavya from India, a PhD candidate. And so I would like to thank you very much for joining us today. And I would like to ask you to briefly introduce yourself.
Hi, Bimba. Thank you so much for the very kind, warm, welcoming invitation. And I'm extremely delighted to be here. I hail from India and I have done mostly all my education from India. And after having my bachelor's degree from Bangalore in India, I moved ahead to do my master's in mental health studies from King's College London. I was there in the UK for a bit and I also worked there. And after that, I was placed as a faculty member in at a university, top-ranked university in India. I was working as a lecturer. I was teaching sports psychology, and after that, I was extremely enthused. I wanted to contribute to the scientific literature, so I was enthused to do my PhD. So I'm here. I really was excited, and I'm doing my PhD now in my third year, finally, and excited to contribute academically, and I'm also teaching mental hygiene and different other subjects at the university. So my pleasure, and I'm here to answer all your questions.
Thank you again for joining us. And I'm very excited to have you. And as I just mentioned you before, because I finished my master's degree in India, so I really would like to know how the Indian education system is. I was there, but that was a master's experience for me. So through the podcast, we will get to know and we will delve into how Indian education system is. But let's start, you are now PhD student in Hungary. So my first question is, what motivated you to choose Hungary for your studies?
Fantastic question. Actually, one of the most interesting questions, because the precise reason I was interested to do my PhD here was because of my very kind supervisor. He's the top 2% scientist in the world. So it's my rather pleasure to learn from him and be under his tutelage. So he's specializing in addiction psychology, and precisely exercise addiction being my area of research interest. So because of the studies here, I was extremely excited to come here and do my PhD under my supervisor.
I see. And is this your first time in Hungary?
Yes, it's my first time studying in Hungary, although I've traveled in Europe before, but first time European experience. And as I mentioned earlier as well, I have had my education in the UK as well. But yes, in Hungary, first time.
I see. Now I would like to more dive into the academic part. So after you come to Hungary, can you please describe me how your academic environment was or is?
I would say in Hungary here, it's very flexible. Everybody respects their time. They value their time. Punctuality is definitely highly, highly valued. Also, I see that in the academic setting, there's a lot of one-on-one learning, like teacher-student centered learning, and less of rote learning. In India, there is a lot of it used to be actually. Now it's more of application-based learning. However, in my time, back in the day, it was a lot of rote learning. I see in Hungary, it's a lot of application-based learning and lots of, I would say, hands-on learning, which I absolutely adore because I'm learning so much, incredibly much, whilst also I had my experience in the UK, so it was very similar.
That's fair. I think it's not only in India about this rote learning. I think it's very popular in Asia.
Asian setting, true.
Exactly, because when I see Chinese exams from the YouTube videos, it's all about memorization, repetition.
True.
Even in my country, it's all about repetition. Before we dive into the meaning, we memorize.
Indeed.
And I also actually did the same thing when I was in my master's in India. And it was, in the beginning, it was difficult, but eventually it was, I think your memory skills improves.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was there any challenges that you faced in Hungary when you were studying?
Interesting question, Bimba. Actually, coming from,
because what I mean is that India, now we have this rote learning, right?
Yes.
Hungary is kind of the opposite. It's more like independent learning.
True.
But in India or in Asia, mostly it's more likely authoritative learning,
yes.
which is more like we are respecting towards the teachers.
Yes.
We need to hierarchical.
Very right. Like the social interactions are basically dictated by the social hierarchy.
Yeah, hierarchy, yes.
Yes.
In a way, it's good,
Yeah.
but sometimes it creates a lot of pressure. But so that's why I would like to ask, in Hungary, is there any challenge you faced, or was it a smooth process to adjust in terms of in your academic learning?
I would say I'm extremely grateful to God. I have not experienced yet any such challenges, and of course, very grateful to my supervisor's support as well. It has been a very smooth ride for me, except the language.
But how about the research? Because that was challenging for me.
Definitely, it is. I would say it is challenging, but I take it like in a on a very positive note, because it definitely entails a lot of learning, and also it gives me it gives me an opportunity to contribute to the scientific literature. So it enthuses me more than it challenges me. So yeah.
Can I ask what's your dissertation topic?
Yes. So Bimba, it is on exercise addiction.
Oh, wow. Addiction in anything.
Yes. Drugs. Yeah, there's substance, right? Yeah.
I see.
But mine specifically, I would say precisely, focuses on exercising.
Exercising.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, very scarcely read. So I'm really excited to contribute, through my research. And also the interesting part and the interesting bent of it is that I'm also doing like a cultural comparison between collectivistic nation like India and an individualistic nation like Hungary. So the exercise addiction and how it differs in both these countries.
Wow, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I really want to see the results. But we need to wait 2 more years. So now I would like to, I think that our listeners are very much interested in your home country's education system. So I would like to ask, how is the education system in India? To be honest, I only know the master's part, but I really want to know the primary education or lower secondary education, upper secondary education. So let's start from the structure of your home country's education system.
I see. Okay. So Bimba, in India, it's more like 10+2, which is primary education, secondary education, and higher secondary education. So basically from 1st grade to the 5th grade, there's primary education. Then 5th to 8th grade, there is secondary education, and after that, there's higher education, and 11th and 12th grade is more of higher secondary education. And after that is, of course, the undergraduate level and the bachelor's and the master's level, the postgraduate level, and the doctoral studies after that. Yeah.
And I'm really interested in, as I'm a PhD candidate for like majoring or focusing on foreign language, I'm interested. How many languages do you study in your whole, from primary to until the graduation?
Okay, so as you know that India is extremely diverse, and definitely we take a lot of pride over it.
Yes.
We have a lot of regional languages, and I would say over 100 dialects. But our official languages, we have many as well, and more than around 22. Well, in India, English and Hindi are very widely spoken. So my exposure with the English language and the Hindi language, of course, Hindi being my absolute mother tongue, and my family also converses in the English language. So I have been acquainted and I have gained proficiency over it ever since I was a little toddler.
And so does it have a specific grade that you start? For example, in my country, we start English language studying from the 5th grade.
I see. Okay.
Do you
That's
have
interesting.
This, or
Bimba, it's or I would say it's always been there ever since my primary my primary education has started in English language. And of course we learn Hindi as well, but English language was very, very highly, focused. Yeah.
Whenever I go to India,
everyone is
speaking English.
Even like a rickshaw driver, rickshaw puller, they would all know English language.
Yes, especially in New Delhi and Mumbai.
Yes,
so they I'm like, I feel shy. I don't feel like foreigner. They are like literally speaking in English as a native language. I'm so impressed with that. I'm interested in how many students are there in one classroom approximately. Give an example.
I see. I would say 30 students on average.
30 students for one teacher?
Yes.
And is there an assistant teacher? Do you have?
Sometimes, yes, there are assistant teachers as well. Sometimes there are also co-teachers as well. But I would say on an average, 25 to 30 students, definitely yes. However, nowadays, in the primary education, it's the numbers are reducing because now everybody in India, they are focusing on a lot of one-on-one learning and student-teacher centered learning, more of just, instead of just like rote learning, how it was back in the day. So now the numbers are reducing, yes, but yes, the numbers were pretty high on average. Yes, I would say that.
So you're talking about that. I believe you're talking about in the central area. And do you know about the remote area? Like how many students approximately are studying? And is it difficult to access to education? I want to know the inside of how the education is in India. So
yes. So Bimba, about the accessibility, yes, it is. There's a very wide disparity in the access to quality education, and also limited number of quality teachers as compared to Hungary. I see there's a lot of focus on quality education here. However, there are many government initiatives that have come out now, and they aim to improve more, more of inclusivity is there, and there are many reservation policies for marginalized communities, which is extremthere impressive considering India is now, really booming with its economy as well. And also there are a lot more opportunities for special education needs as well. Yes, yeah.
And I'm interested in the curriculum. So is your curriculum mainly based on from other countries, or is it based on from your own country? I wonder, how's yours?
Well, we have our national and our state level curriculums, and yes, they have been inspired from the British learning. Yes, because of course there's a lot of influence of English language. So yes, we have learned a lot from them. But yes, we have the state level and the national kind of curriculums. Yeah.
Now we know the classroom has one teacher and she's responsible for 30 students, which is kind of a lot. And I think it's similar to my country. And I'm wondering, how is then outside of the classroom? For example, in China, they have a certain time to study from, I think, 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. until the afternoon, noon. Then after that, they have the homework courses, or they need to attend some tutoring.
Yeah.
So their daily life for the students, it's finished around 11 p.m. And I was really surprised to hear that, to be honest. And I'm wondering, how's in India?
I would say extremely similar. Hailing from the Asian context, in Asia, hard work is highly valued, right? And we've been ingrained to that kind of exposure. But yes, after school hours, definitely you have to, you have your pieces of homework that you have to finish, and then you go to school, you come back, maybe take a nap for like half an hour and get back to your studies, finish your homework, and also revise for everything. I mean, that's how my childhood was. And maybe some exposure to different kinds of activities like chess, play chess, or, go out for a nice stroll with your family, your parents, and then you come back, have dinner, and early sleeping to bed. But yes, there's a lot of focus on tuitions after your school. So mostly every student has like their tuition, and wherein they do extra learning, and also there is extracurricular learning as well, which is beyond your schooling hours. You also have to attend like football classes, or like any art class, something like that. But tuition is extremely necessary, in which you focus on science subjects, mathematics subjects, because in India, these subjects are highly valued, and technology, as you know, being the hub. So yes, science and mathematics is it's like you must know.
When I was in India, there was I wouldn't say it's like a principle, but it was more like a rumor for me. There should be at least one engineer from one family.
Yes.
Or one doctor.
Yes. Well, Bimba, my sister, my real sister, she's a medical doctor. She's a pulmonologist. And my brother-in-law, he's a software engineer. So you can imagine how much it is, ingrained in the families.
Was there any impactful moment that you remember from your childhood education?
I see. So Bimba, there is, as I already did talk about, inclusivity. So with inclusivity does come equal opportunities. However, yes, there is a bit of, male to female ratio difference. But nowadays it's regaining, and there's a lot of increasing opportunities for women as well. Yeah. So a lot of women empowerment, and everybody really, admires this approach. Yeah.
And when you mentioned about female and male ratio, now I'm interested in how is then the classroom. So the boys and the girls, they get to study together, or they do study different classrooms?
Everybody's together. Yeah, they all study together. However, yes, we have different schools as well for only boys or only girls as well. However, there are co-ed based education as well in different schools. So I come from a co-ed system, and wherein I studied with boys and girls together, which I feel is great, because there's a lot of learning involved. You learn from your mates, be your guy friends and your girls as your friends. So a lot of like different opinions, different attitudes you learn from, and motivation styles. So I really do appreciate that kind of exposure that I have had in my childhood. Yeah. I do second your thoughts, Bimba. It's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add to that, we also have like a subject called home sciences, and highly popular among girls than boys. Then there are different subjects which are highly popular among boys than girls. Like there's business studies. Yes, of course, even girls take it, but I would say it's very popular among boys, and even accounts. So I would say not a lot of disparity, but yes, in humanities and art subjects, girls are high in number as compared to boys. And for subjects like business studies or business related subjects, boys are higher in number.
And from in terms of diversity, how is it diverse? For example, you have a diverse states, diverse language. So in the classroom, is it also diverse people?
I see. Okay. Very intriguing question for listeners.
I would like to ask, can you compare the education in bachelor's and in your PhD, bachelor's in India and PhD in Hungary, but like in terms of the learning environment or the learning difficulties or the content of what the country is offering in the education field. So can you please compare?
Yes, PhD is very different from your bachelor studies for sure. But I would say, considering how it is different, there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of respect of your time here in Hungary, and flexible with your choices and your decisions. However, while I was doing my bachelor's, there are a lot of strict deadlines, and you have to meet them. So so there was like no negotiation. You have to do it.
In India?
In India, yeah. And which I like also, because now it's ingrained so much in me that I have become a perfectionist because of it. And I don't want to miss out on any deadline. So I have to be there on time, do everything, as and when it is suggested. So yes, I've learned that from India. However, I'm learning so much more now in Hungary, considering how much they also respect your time and your decisions. And it's okay to, take a break at times as well.
How about the teachers? So was there any differences in terms of teachers' attitudes generally?
Yes, big yes.
How is it different or how is it similar?
It's very relaxed here, and as I said, they respect your opinions. In India, there's more of, as we already did talk about, the social interactions are highly dictated by social hierarchy. So you have to say yes to everything, and kind of for sure comply in, and also conform. But as I said, that it does guide you towards producing your best productivity levels. But here I see in Hungary there's a lot of contribution to scientific literature, and I just love it. I love it so much. There's so much focus on research. Yes, in India as well. Like we have like the top IITs, and the IIMs in the world, I would say. So a lot of focus on research. But here I see there is there are top scientists hailing from Hungary, and they are becoming the top in the world. So which I really appreciate. In India as well, from IITs, IIMs and other top universities in the country, we have a lot of top researchers. As I said, that there's a lot of focus on science and technology and mathematics. But here in Hungary, there's equal focus on everything. Science, literature, social sciences, education, equal.
What's your personal preference? Would you continue your academic career based on mostly on Indian one or the Hungarian one? It's a difficult question, but I'm interested in it because we kind of learn something from our home country, and the country we are living now. From Hungary, yes, I agree with you. The research is something they primarily focus, and I really love it.
Well, I'm actually open to, different landscapes, as I've had my education in India, then I was in the UK, now I'm in Europe. So very open to different opportunities and how opportunities even spring by. But I love the fact that India has taught me how to, be extremely diligent to my work and, be extremely hardworking. In Hungary, I have learned more flexibility and also being assertive with my thoughts and my attitudes. So yes, an amalgamated learning and a lot of contribution to the scientific literature. I look forward to great opportunities ahead.
Wow, I think it sounds, incredible. In your PhD, we get to fill certain requirements. For example, we need to attend conferences, and we get to have journals, the publications. So comparing to your country, how is this experience in your home country and in Hungary? So how do you find it?
I see. So Bimba, as I already did talk about my experience as a faculty member back in my country, I was lecturing on subjects like sports psychology and personality psychology. Being on the other side of the table, we did focus a lot on publishing in Scopus Index journals and high impact factor journals. I see a very similar trend here in Hungary as well. A lot of focus on contributing to the scientific journals and high ranked peer reviewed journals as well. So in India, it's coming up. And a lot of focus is there nowadays. In Hungary, I've seen it's ingrained in every student. From undergraduate level, everybody has been focusing a lot on research. At an undergraduate level back in India, I was not so much focused on my research. Yes, of course, we were supposed to do necessary. It was by default, we had to do a dissertation contribution, which is a part of our curriculum. We had to do it. But having my exposure from King's College London, it also got way more ingrained in me that I have to do more research and, contribute more scholarly.
So is there any practices or any methods that you wanted to bring from Hungary, especially from your PhD part?
Sure.
Or vice versa, from India to Hungary?
I would say in India, we actually work all the time. Like there is no balanced approach. There is no work-life balance, honestly. There's just like you work all the time over the weekends, even after 6 p.m. I love this about Europe. In Hungary, that, after 6 p.m., you close off. It's okay. Take your break, finish your tasks, wake up at, 7 a.m. in the morning, finish your tasks and, close, shut off your laptop at 6 p.m.
In Hungary?
In Hungary. Yeah, I've seen that. But in India, there's a lot of focus on, working all the time, and you have your laptop with you all the time. However, being a PhD candidate here, I have my laptop with me all the time. Even at the shopping mall, I'm carrying it with me.
Even in summer, on holiday.
Even on a holiday, on a yacht, I had my laptop.
Yeah, that's a PhD life.
So, well, that's there. But one thing that I would really love to take back from Hungary to my country is holistic learning. Lot of holistic learning, and I see that I've changed as a person, and I'm extremely grateful to the exposure that I've had here. My supervisor being, the wind beneath my wings, and also extremely grateful to God for this. And so much focus on holistic development, holistic learning that I would give that back to my country when I go back, and if I see myself in academia teaching in India. Yeah. And to take one capsule of learning from India and implicating that in the context of Hungary would be that it has already come into my my way of life, it is hard work and dedication to everything that I put into. There has to be dedication. I have had the privilege and the opportunity to publish papers in scientific journals, and also been a reviewer for ad hoc reviewer for many journals. So I do my work very sincerely, and I give in my best then. So that I have learned incredibly from India. Yeah, you would see all Indians are extremely hard workers.
That's very true. That's very true. I think I learned a lot from India. That's something I can confidently say everywhere. Like, it's exhausting journey.
Indeed.
But I was reading a book a lot, even after my class finishes. That's how my life was. And until I sleep, I was reading. But that time I was crying, difficult.
Yeah.
But now I appreciate it, because now I get to have explore the countries, different countries, explore different cuisines.
Yeah.
It gave me a lots of opportunity, and I learned a lot from India. And I truly agree that when you mention about hardworking, that's really true.
Yeah.
Even I think the professors from my masters, they were really incredible. The way they speak, even there was some British English was happening there, It was more elegant British English. I'm like, wow. I was just wowing there. There were times, and I was just admiring, and I just literally want to be that person.
Yeah.
So I truly appreciate India. And what advice would you give to your other Asian students or other Indian students who are going to pursue the PhD in Hungary?
Oh, it's a big, fat yes. Because I have learned incredibly here, and I am beyond grateful to my experience here. I think I will always look back in hindsight with a very, very fond heart, considering my experience here in Hungary. Everybody was so kind academically, and just in my personal life. I would say I would definitely give it to ways of God as well. But the kind of exposure I've had here, I've had such lovely people around me who have really maneuvered my PhD experience, my PhD journey. I think it's in itself and an intimidating journey, I would say. Considering the thought of PhD only is very overwhelming, but when you get into it, when you dive deeper into it, you meet so many different souls who want to empower you and help you, and have had the privilege to meet such lovely souls who have really guided me, helped me, motivated me, and I couldn't have been more grateful to God for this amazing experience in Hungary. So it's a big fat yes for all my Indian colleagues and friends to do their PhD here in Hungary, and especially in the top 2%, under the top 2% scientists in the world. What else would you want? If you don't learn anything from here, then I think where would that place be then?
Would you also say, bring your warm clothes?
Oh my God! I was shivering in the cold though.
Because in India, what is it, like plus 30?
It's tropicals. You love the fruits and
true,
the sun. But here, yes, for sure, it gets a bit too chilly. It gets a bit difficult, and especially very gloomy. At just 3 p.m. it gets dark
in winter,
which I absolutely detest. But I have to keep going and telling myself, okay, honey, you have to do your PhD. Go for it, Bhavya.
That's not only for you. I think that's for everybody.
That's not the only challenge.
Yeah, that was the biggest challenges. So this is kind of an end of the podcast. So the time flies really fast.
Indeed.
Actually. So is there anything that I did not ask but you wanted to say?
Bimba, just my last few words would be, I really love the approach how the Indian education system and the Hungarian education system are integrating digital tools and innovative technology, and also teaching methods and how it's all being amalgamated together in addition to international collaborations now. So it's a lot of learning that I've had from India and also continuing to learn from India and also Hungary. To add to it, I am pioneering my research in exercise addiction, specifically cultural contrasts, which is collectivistic nation and an individualistic nation. So I hope to, contribute best to the scientific literature and, be a good scholar amalgamating these digital tools that we have in the current scenario, and also how there are innovative teaching methods. So taking benefit from all of it and also learning from different professors from India and Hungary. So indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to be here at the podcast, and I look forward to wonderful opportunities for you and I and the entire academic community here.
Thank you very much, Bhavya. Thank you for joining us today, and bye, everybody.
See you.
See you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this MCC podcast episode. For further media content, please look up our English website at mcc.hu/en, or look for us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to read more by our professors, external contributors, and students, check out our knowledge base at corvinus.hu/en.